A big welcome to Oconomowoc artist Ben Otten. Thank you for joining us here on the Arts page. I am Sandy Max, and congratulations on being the Art 64 2022 champion, taking home the grand prize of $20,000. How did it feel in the moment to win Art 64?
Oh man, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Um, Hard to put into words, to be honest with you. There were just tons and tons of awesome artists there, great talent. To be able to go through all four rounds and ultimately come on top was a bit shocking. Still trying to let it sink in, to be honest with you, but obviously just overwhelming to be able to be there and come out on top. So.
Did you feel confident going into the event? Like, what was your game plan? Did you enter going, I can nail this, or it'll just be kind of fun?
A little bit of both, I guess. Yeah. So I definitely had a game plan, I guess you could say, for the first two rounds at least, just because it was split between the 2 days. So I had an idea of what I wanted to do for the first day, Friday. But then it's really just a matter of getting into it and making some of those plans come to fruition. So after that, it was kind of just winging it a little bit. But I didn't really since it was the first of its kind. So nobody had really done it before, and so I didn't really know like who was going to be painting what and all the different mediums and materials and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of just went in, with my bag of tools and just attacked it. So.
Now, Ben, can you explain to us what kind of art is your favorite medium? What's a little bit about your background? And are you a mainly plein air painter, or what are some of your favorite mediums to work in?
Yeah, so a great question. So I went to school for architecture actually at UWM. I had always been surrounded by the arts. My grandmother was actually a watercolor artist. So I was always exposed to the medium ever since I was growing up. Didn't obviously pursue that fully. Like I mentioned, I went to school for architecture. So a lot of my subject matter does portray some sort of architecture or landscape, seascape, or cityscape, if you will. But predominantly, mostly always working in watercolor. I've dabbled with some other mediums, but like I mentioned, my grandmother was a watercolor artist, so it's kind of near and dear to the heart. So ever since I picked up a brush, that was kind of the medium I wanted to pursue. So yeah, that was kind of the reasoning for watercolor.
To carry on your grandmother's DNA and that heritage, that must make you very proud.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. It's something you don't really realize while it's happening, but being able to look back and just, I mean, obviously we have tons of her paintings in the family. She's very well known around Oconomowoc and the Lake Country area, just because she exhibited her work. She did a lot of art fairs. So to be able to have that conversation with other people and really follow after the generational watercolor artist is leaves you a little speechless sometimes.
Now, sometimes creative people, they look for a challenge. So, what was your feeling when you first heard about Art 64?
I don't usually do plein air competitions. I kind of do a mix. So a lot of the times, what I do is when I travel, I'll take pictures, reference photos, maybe do a quick sketch on site or location to get an idea or feel of something that I might want to take back into the studio. But predominantly, I would do a lot of work in the studio and then showcase at festivals, art shows, and things of that nature. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things where this was a totally different event for me. Just especially with the amount of people walking around. Everybody was very considerate and nice and tried not to bother you, obviously, because we were all, dealing with the time constraint and so forth. But yeah, this was a bit of a different event for me. So I kind of had to take some of that and just run with it as we went through the whole weekend.
What was the most appealing thing about Art 64? What tipped you in and made you go, okay, I got to be part of this?
Obviously can't lie. That grand prize kind of made the, made everybody look a little bit harder. But it was just a fun new event that was happening right basically in my backyard. Didn't have to travel far for it. They gave us plenty of time. I mean, obviously, just some of the constraints with the past couple of years because the event was actually supposed to happen back in 2020. So when we applied to this, it was 2019 for the following year. And so then obviously with the pandemic and just trying to organize an event of this scale took quite a bit of rework and organization. So I definitely tip my hat off to Milwaukee for staying after that and ultimately, putting on just a one heck of an event that weekend. So.
How did the pause of the pandemic affect your creativity and how you approach your art?
Honestly, it just gave me more time to just dial in on some paintings. Obviously, everybody was kind of looking for stuff to do. And so it allowed me to get back in the studio, kind of work on some new stuff that, maybe I was interested in and hadn't really had time to explore yet. But just stayed after it. They kept in touch pretty much throughout the entire process and just made sure, who was interested, if they were still going to plan on coming and all that. So very proactive throughout the, 2-3 year span it took to plan the event.
Now, Ben, other than the $20,000 grand prize that you won, what else did you take away from your Art 64 experience?
That I want to do more plein air painting. Like I mentioned, a lot of my work previously has been in the studio, and then I take it somewhere and display and show in some nature. This was just so thrilling, basically, to be able to just be on site, interact with people, paint live for people. Like I mentioned, that time constraint kind of threw an extra aspect of the whole thing. And so just the intensity was awesome. Being able to interact with other artists, obviously it was a bracket style. So leading up to the actual, okay, here's your 60 minutes, go for it. You had time to interact with, your partner, whoever you're going up against. And it was fun just to see where other artists were from, all the different styles and talents that were around. So it was a very fun aspect. So since I've actually been looking into some alternative events and different plein air stuff, so hopefully I can nail some of those down in the future.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for you in the future, Mr. Ben Otten. Do you have
Yes.
any specific plans other than looking for these types of competitions to participate in?
I've got a couple other events coming up this summer. In the third week in August, actually, it's the Oconomowoc Festival of the Arts. So that's kind of my hometown event that I look forward to every year. As I mentioned before, my grandmother was an artist, so she was actually one of the founding artists that helped get this event kicked off way back when. So again, very near and dear to the heart. So looking forward to that one coming up in a few weeks here. Other than that, just kind of staying busy with work this summer and paint as much as I can. I've got a couple of fairly large commissions that I'm working on around the area as well, but hoping things can maybe kind of settle down a little bit in fall and maybe get some time to take off and hit the road, find some areas to go collect my photos and paint and just kind of explore the next chapter of my work. Would be really fun.
Well, Ben, thank you very much for chatting with us today. Congratulations from everyone here at the Arts Page for being the very first Art 64 Grand Champion. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys. Again, I seriously appreciate you reaching out and having me on today.